Hey, what's happening, guys? Mike Moo here. This video, I'm going to talk about the latest TomTom. This came out in 2021, and I'm in a small tribe of TomTomers, at least here in the United States. Meaning, I used to love TomTom. I love TomTom and what they have brought to the GPS market. They're expanding to do a bunch of other things right now, but specifically, I'm talking about the latest TomTom Go Discover. It is 7 inches. And it's got some features that they're really touting in this version. Now, this came out last year, but I've only recently had a chance to try it out here in April 2022. Basically March and April 2022. So first of all, it's a 7-inch GPS device. Okay, that means the screen 7 inches diagonally, and it works by picking up satellite signals. It has actually really good pickup. So it'll pick up your location pretty quickly. Didn't have any issues with that. It's also much faster than other GPS units. They claim 4 times faster than the previous generation. I believe it. And importantly, what's special about this is it also gives you 1 year of free premium live subscription services. So that's going to tell you things like gas prices. Okay, when you're traveling, it's going to tell you things like traffic cam updates, safety cam updates, and I think something else too. I forget, but we'll get into that. Oh, yeah, traffic. But traffic, I think, is free. Oh, it was 1 year live off-street parking. All right, so if you have off-street parking issues, this may help you. I'm finding it's going to vary really depending on where you're at. And what really sets this guy apart, this GPS apart from other GPS units out there, is that this price is all-inclusive. It gives you worldwide maps. So if you're going to travel the world, this has a map for you. So it's not like some GPS devices where they just have, USA or USA and Canada, North America, certain places like that, and then you got to buy an extra module to cover that country. No, this has everything already included and preloaded, plus a lifetime of map updates. So that's actually a fantastic value if you are vacationing or planning on traveling the world and planning on getting on a motor vehicle, all right? And you need help with navigation. Now, that's the gist of it. It's got a beautiful screen. It's fast, easy to navigate. And over here in the Bay Area, I have one big issue. And I have one big issue about this TomTom unit versus some of the older ones that I've tried. And I've been a long-time TomTom user. I think I started out with them in the 90s. The most expensive unit I got from them was the TomTom Go 900. I think it was like ridiculously expensive. $900, probably $1,000. Anyways, so that one was filled with a lot of features, had remote control on there as well. But one thing that I really loved about the TomTom units was the customizability. They allowed you to download custom POIs and load them over on your TomTom device. Unfortunately, they've removed that as far as I know, and they've replaced it with like a cloud type of platform. So my problem is that when I use the search functionality, it's lacking a lot of things. Okay, so when I put in an address or a name, let's say I'm looking for Whole Foods, and over here I'm in Sunnyvale. So when I type in Whole Foods, the closest one I can find is over in Santa Clara, which is not the one that I'm looking for. The one I'm looking for is over in downtown Sunnyvale. It has no idea that exists, nor does it have any idea that that there's actually a street address specifically for it. So, and the Whole Foods has been open like a year, maybe more than that now. And granted, it is the pandemic. I have found that a lot of things that my wife is looking for to go ahead and check out and eat are not up to date. So even though you get live updates, and they have been updating the software and the maps a lot, and it updates via Wi-Fi, okay? So here's the main interface screen. We got a Wi-Fi signal thing over here. We got Bluetooth connection over there. We got My Drive connected, more on that later. And, okay, Bluetooth is not connected. You got Wi-Fi connected, and we got traffic information details connected. So all of that is connected to help you with your navigation. Unfortunately, when I'm looking for a place to go to, it typically can't find information about it, at least not good enough for me. So what I often have to resort to then, if I'm using this, is I also have to bust out my smartphone if I'm looking for something, latest information, and then put in the address name. Here's the thing. If I'm driving, that's really difficult to do. It's just not something that is going to be safe to do typing, granted it is a 7-inch screen, typing on a screen where it is that I'm going to go find, so I then have to pull over. All right. Now here's where I was hoping that the TomTom would do well, and that is the voice recognition. Unfortunately, just right down to it, it has not been performing well, not even close to my standards that I expect it to do compared with my Garmin device. All right. So by default, I can actually change what it is that I call it, but I left it alone because I think that's just the best way to go about it. So the way to do that, and I'll show you the voice navigation, voice recognition thing. I'll go, hello, TomTom.
I'm listening.
All commands. Now, granted, this is a lot better than what I had going on with my crappy Subaru voice recognition. Granted, but that was, 7 years ago technology. This has a very limited set of commands. All right. These are all the commands that you can do. Now you will notice there is no command also to find a place, because they probably know, hey, it's not going to do a great job. It has some very important stuff that I'm probably not going to remember to do, except maybe adjust the volume up and down. Or to tell it to go home, right? That's about it. I mean, and to navigate and go to places. So I'll go a little bit more about that and why that might work out a little bit better. So I'll probably use go to an address a lot. So if I say go to an address, then I can actually read out or say out the address. And if I'm driving and with the way that my car is, I get a lot of road noise. It really doesn't pick it up. It's kind of a bit of a wash. Okay, so the best way to go about all this before traveling is, and this is also what's great about TomTom, I'm glad they didn't get rid of this feature, is that you can do something called My Routes. So if you're planning a road trip, this guy is great for you because you can put in a lot of stuff and a lot of stops and points, a lot of stops and points along the way of your travel destination before you get to your destination that it could just cycle through. Okay, so or like, let's say you are a delivery driver. Let's say you, have like several stops. You already know what they all are. You can program and type them in on the the TomTom app. And I forgot the name of it. It's either TomTom, MyDrive or something. And then synchronize it via your smartphone's internet. And it'll show up here on your routes. And then you can go ahead and start your route. I think that's really great. That's not something that you can find on a typical application for navigation or, Waze or, anything else like that. TomTom has that in this unit, and that's fantastic. They do have it in some other units. Okay, I've owned a few TomTom devices over the past, and it's something that actually works. Okay, granted, as long as you do the homework beforehand. Okay, so that's something pretty cool. Now, how it synchronizes that is through the cloud service, which is free. So you just got to set up a login, then connect to my TomTom, and then it's connected. It's called MyDrive. Okay, TomTom MyDrive. You'll just log in, and it'll synchronize all the stuff. You can have it stop syncing too if you don't want it to sync. Like, let's say the whole purpose that you wanted to get a GPS so that you could be completely off the grid and not synchronize anything back, you can do that as well. But I do definitely recommend connecting it to Wi-Fi at least at the beginning to download a lot of updates. And trust me, there are a lot of updates. Okay, so what else sets this apart? Well, they also have a section called My Vehicle. You can program your car exactly, and this is useful because you can tell it what kind of car you drive, combustion, electric, or hybrid at this point, and then you can say what kind of fuel that you have, and I use regular unleaded, and it'll note all those things along the route as long as the database is updated and give you live price maps on the screen to tell you, well, look, this is how much this gas station charges for a gallon of regular or a gallon of premium or whatever it is that you're going to use. Now, I don't think there's any, I haven't checked to see whether or not they have something for Teslas. Let me see. Let me try electric. Okay. Probably you can. All right. So I'm for the interest of this demonstration, I'm going to switch this over this over. I'm going to switch this over to the settings for, I'm doing this in reverse. So electric, and then I can choose what kind of charger types that I want. All right, and that's pretty cool. So you put in what kind of adapter, what kind of sockets you do. Let's say I drive a Tesla, which I do not currently, and I just pick Tesla, and what kind of cables that you're going to use. And I'm also going to choose Tesla. So the database will update and let you know exactly where it is that you might be able to find Tesla charging stations. Granted, if you drive a Tesla, it's already going to have that built in. But my point is, you drive an electric car, electric vehicle, and you just casually want to see what's available, what routes or stuff. The idea is through the internet connection, when linked with your phone, it's going to update all that stuff with the pricing information, along with parking information, which could be very useful when you are traveling in a place that you really don't know. So that's really cool. Okay. That is a great value add, and I feel like usually you need a smartphone in order to get stuff like that, and you got to mess with the smartphone. Sometimes when you're driving, that's really not great. So having it show up here on a screen is fantastic. Okay, so that's a positive. Now, because the POI is so bad, and you can, the way around that used to be to, of course, download custom POIs and program that directly in here so it becomes part of the database. Unfortunately, there's no way to do that as far as I know. At least the programmers haven't hacked it, or the people haven't figured out how to get that stuff in here. And that is very unfortunate. Maybe I got to contact their technical team to see if I could still do that. So that's one thing. The other thing is that in order to get around issues like that, for instance, I find that putting in my own custom places is helpful. So you sign up for the account, you log on to your my TomTom thing, and you put in destinations in there, and they will automatically sync through here as long as you are signed in on this device using your My TomTom account. So to synchronize over the internet, get the information here, that's fantastic, particularly if you have multiple TomTom devices and you drive multiple different cars and you need them all synced up with the destinations and routes. It's great. Okay, but of course all the same login. So for instance, if a family is going on a road trip and you got a caravan of cars, everyone gets a TomTom device, everyone logs in with a password and syncs, you get your routes, your destinations, recent destinations, my places, all programmed already in there. Everybody knows what's up and you're good to go. That's cool. Okay, so yeah, that's something unique. That's something that normally you'd have to coordinate with your smartphone. So for instance, if for whatever reason, I have people visiting from some other country, we're coming along, and typically we can't fit everybody in one vehicle. We drive two vehicles, and we're trying to share destinations where to go. I get on my Drive TomTom app, I type in the destinations on there, and then basically you go in there and you sync. Just make sure everybody has internet connection, and then you're good. That's pretty unique. All right. Now, finally, yeah, I'm really just disappointed in the POIs. That really doesn't work out very well. But let me give you an example of, oh, okay. So we'll talk about some of the physical features if you didn't already see it. So when you buy the unit, it's pretty bare bones. It comes with this mount. This is an active dock mount. This comes off like that, clips on like so. It's useful if you don't want your TomTom device just sticking there in the windshield. Probably not a good idea to leave it out there since everybody likes to break in and steal stuff now, at least over here in San Francisco Bay Area. This suction mount is actually really good. I found that it actually holds very well. And surprisingly, it's not that sticky type. Okay, so, which is good because the sticky type sometimes in really hot heat tends to leak goo and stuff down. Granted, I don't know how long this mount's going to last, but I imagine you can just get another replacement from TomTom online or somewhere. But I do like the active mount. It is micro USB, keep that in mind. And when you remove it, you also have the option to power it via micro USB. Now, battery life out of the unit is only 1 hour, so keep that in mind. And if you need to keep going, of course, you can technically you could just plug in a micro USB cable directly in there and also achieve the same function and form. But I do wish that they included other mounting options rather than just this. But you know, it works out, it's stable, and this actually holds very well. So as long as you're not driving like a crazy maniac all over the place, this actually holds very well for a device that is this big, 7 inches across. Speakers are fantastic. You can hear perfectly fine. All the instructions, I didn't have any issues with getting any or hearing any of the instructions coming through, even though while you're driving in a vehicle that does not have fantastic insulation. And then the prompts here are actually pretty decent too. Now, here's the thing. The voice that it speaks with, there's a lot of different languages, a ton of different languages, and you can download more. If you can actually just go to the TomTom site, see what kind of voices you can get and download. So there's a wide variety almost for everyone. There's even celebrity voices there from time to time. Now, the problem that I do have is that the computer voice is not as useful as Garmin's. Okay, what do I mean by that? Garmin has something called like real directions or something like that, where it says, hey, when you get to the end of the street, or before you hit the 7-Eleven, turn right, or before you hit a McDonald's, or it'll be, you know, stuff like that. This doesn't say that. It just says your destination will be like 300 yards up ahead or something like that, and that's just typical GPS speak. Now, on the display, which is really good, let me just put you in directions to let me just put you in directions to Google. All right. So Google, let's just go to Google Drive in Mountain View, 6.2 miles away. All right. So I typed in Google and I picked the location and I just chose Drive. This is what it does. It chose that, and I just basically chose the fastest way, or faster. I chose faster. That's by default. It'll automatically choose the drive, and then it will begin with the directions. Okay, it gives you 3 different choices on there. Now I found that the routing is a little bit off, a little bit different from my usual routes or my typical routes from either Google Maps or Waze or Apple Maps.
You will arrive at your destination at 7:06 p.m.
Now, I don't know whether or not the routing on here is going to be better. I can tell you that if you're interested in finding a different route and you're, you know, just kind of sick of going in the same routes all the time, TomTom will give you a lot of other interesting different routes to choose, interestingly enough. Now, whether or not it's better, I don't know. I will say that you got to be careful in making the choices. They have like a faster option, a fastest option, shortest option, most efficient option, and I believe something else. And when it does that, it just, you find that a lot of times there's a little bit of hassle of doing a lot of the stop signs. You got the hassle of making a lot of turns. Whereas typical GPS, you do the fastest route and it'll basically try to avoid turns and stuff. So typically what most people like. So I told it to navigate me to Google. It gives me some options to add a stop, which is pretty useful. You know, you got parking, I got charging, and I got food. Okay, along the way, let me just try food, or maybe restaurant. So it'll search for different categories like that, and this is what it shows. Not very useful now, is it? I mean, you can kind of see on the screen, all right? Let's say I want to drop by the falafel shop. Then I just tap on a falafel shop. Or at least I'm supposed to tap on a falafel. Okay, cafe stop. All right. And I could choose add a stop. That's kind of cool. But like, there's some other different categories that I would like to choose from that are not available on there. Okay. So on the go, it's a little bit hard to say, I can't just yell out to the TomTom voice recognition to go ahead and find a place for me. That simply is not an option. And you also cannot navigate the menu options with voice completely, unlike a Garmin device that I used to have. So there's still going to be a lot of screen interaction on here. All right, so I'm going to go ahead and tell it to, and these are the options over here, the rest of the options. You can see there's some pretty useful things in there, like if you need to avoid a closed street or avoid a road type, avoid a blocked road, that's pretty cool. Change route type. Let's go with See, there's fast, faster, efficient, short, and shorter. All right, let me just try the efficient route. Sorry about the focus here. This is the GH6, you know how it is. I'm going to drive, and it's going to take me 8.8 miles. It'll take you through some funky stuff. I'm telling you. Look at this. See this? I don't know. And this is probably because it's weird to get out after I do the cafe stop. Okay, so you'll have some interesting spots and stuff along the way if you do it that way. But okay, let me go back. Let me resume. So I'm here and I'm zooming around and I'm having a hard time trying to figure out how to get back to the screen I was just a moment ago. All right, let me just end route here. Let me try that again. Hello, TomTom?
I'm listening.
Go to an address.
Say an address.
Let's say 500 West McKinley Avenue, Sunnyvale, California.
Say the list number.
You didn't quite get it, so I'll just do 1.
Number 2, 5500 West McKinley Avenue, Sunnyvale West, California. Is that correct?
No. No.
Say the list number.
1.
Number 1, 5500 West McKinley Avenue, Sunnyvale, California. Is that correct?
Yes.
Number 5500 can be found. Finding a route to 1299 West McKinley Avenue, Sunnyvale, California, instead.
Well, I'm glad I was smart enough to at least try to do that. And I do want to say that when I'm driving, the voice recognition doesn't work very well again because it just... I mean, even here in this quiet environment, I think I said a different number. I think I said 2. And
you will arrive at your destination at 7:07 p.m.
I picked 1 and it chose 2, or I picked 2, chose 1, and I'm really thinking like it just completely did not get the location that I wanted to get to. All right, so the voice recognition not great. So there's a lot of screen pressing that needs to happen. I'm gonna choose play route preview so you get an idea of what that really looks like as we're driving along the route. As we're leaving
yards,
this location.
Left, East Fremont Avenue.
Now, when I had it set to
turn left.
When I had it set to a gasoline version, it showed up and it popped up a bunch of signs about how much the gas prices were. And by the way, it's about $5.50, $5.60 down the street from us per gallon here. So this is pretty much what it looks like.
After 0.6 miles, keep right.
And this is with a computer voice, all right? Now, if you want celebrity voices, it'll just say after 300 feet, turn right. It won't say the street names because it's not a computer-generated voice.
Yards, keep right.
There are a lot of varieties of voices to choose from, and that's useful. You know what I do wish, though, is I can have a celebrity voice and then have a computer voice speak the rest of the portion that needs to be said. That would have been a nice option.
Right. Harlenberg Avenue.
But it's not. Now notice how the navigation lets you know which lane you're going to be in. Now I found that to be somewhat inconsistent. I guess that's true also with Garmin. You know what surprisingly is the best so far? But I guess it's because I'm lived literally just like less than a mile from the main Apple campus. But Apple Maps does a really good job out here. They really have got their navigation down so that I'm very comfortable with using Apple Maps over here in the Bay Area, at least South Bay Area. And the directions are fantastic. The voice is the best. And it also tells you exactly which lane to get in, so you don't even have to look at the screen. So that's what this GPS kind of works out like.
After 500 yards, go straight ahead.
I think some people are wondering whether or not you can put in GPS coordinates on here, and no, you cannot, unfortunately. So if someone sends you GPS coordinates, I haven't figured out a way exactly to do that. These are some of the categories you can choose from. The quick quick categories you can choose from. Unfortunately, with these categories, for whatever reason, I can't voice navigate to any of these. All right, so let me try this. Hello, TomTom. I got to go back to the main screen to do that. So the voice recognition is not universally everywhere. Hello, TomTom.
I'm listening.
Go to airport.
Set your work location first.
Yeah, that didn't do anything. It thought that I was asking it to go to work. So there are a very limited list of commands that this will work. Now, what works really well is Garmin, because they actually work with Amazon's, I'm not going to say the device, but Amazon's Echo Assistant. And that actually works well because I can tell it to, and I could just basically tell it and it would just search for it, and sometimes it will get it. Whereas I can't even ask for that on the TomTom. And it's a shame because there's cloud services on here, and if they could have just worked with Google or Amazon, that would have been a nice option to have. And I gave the feedback that with the voice navigation, the commands are very limited. It would be really great to be able to navigate through the menu like I used to be able to do on the Garmin. So with that said, there are some features that are improvement over the last time that I used a TomTom device, but there are definitely some negatives as well. So I think if you are a real power user, you're not going to like this new version of the TomTom. But if you are an average user and you don't mind getting your hands dirty and connecting onto your Wi-Fi hotspot or tethering it from your phone, it has some neat features on here. Now, I don't know how much you're going to have to pay past a year to get the subscription services, which includes the gas prices. It includes the parking, off-street parking lot information, I guess. So they're going to have parking information on here. And then also the speed light cameras and the speed traps. That's not in here. And I guess that's just the way for them to go ahead and make more money from you, because before you could just download those off of the database and put them in there yourself and not have to pay for it. So in the end, I feel like this is not quite there. The thing is, as with many devices, and there's promise of potential for this, because the CPU is really fast. It's 4 times faster. They can definitely do some software upgrades to improve it. And they're doing a lot of updates all the time. So as you watch this video, keep in mind how long ago, this is April 15th right now, that there might be updates all the time that improve your experience. And if the POIs get in there and they're able to add more voice stuff going on in here and just improve all that stuff, then this could be the GPS to beat. But for now, I'm afraid the Garmin's still better. And doing Apple CarPlay is also still better. Doing Android Auto is also better. And I was able to get one of those devices like this, like a device that you just stick on a windshield and get Apple CarPlay on your car for $150. That's even cheaper than this guy, which is $300. So there are a lot of things. There's a lot of competition and stuff to support a safer driving environment with navigation and everything. That you know, we're in a pretty good place. Okay, so well, that's it for this video. Let me know if you have any questions down below. Please give us a like, subscribe for more, and I'll catch you next one. Thanks for watching.